We're in Oregon, a lot of stuff to do. Central Oregon, a lot of stuff to do.
Public lands are very important.
The feeling of peace and awesomeness that you get when you're outside.
It's being able to interact with landscapes that you can see, but you see it from a completely different perspective when you're on a wall.
We don't look at this like a sport. We truly think of it like a lifestyle.
I would say the community is very supportive. Granted, we still encounter roadblocks.
The dawning of a new day shines a light across the high desert, revealing its beauty.
We know that being in these different environments can have a calming presence on us.
Providing us the spark to move across the landscape.
Just being able to get the miles in is huge. So having access to be able to do that is huge.
Thousands of acres of easily accessible public lands lie at Ben's back door. Plenty of pathways to run, pedal, ski, and explore. Wrapped in all those ways to recreate, there's a community of people stoked to get after it. But for some, stepping out the door into the great outdoors might not be so easy.
There's a lot of things. We usually only think of costs when it comes to the barriers outdoors, but transportation is a big one.
People don't always have access to it, or they're not as informed. Maybe because of like a language barrier.
Let's be honest, Bend is super white, and so it's, I think if you are a person of color looking for that sort of community, it's gonna be really, really hard to find it.
I've been in the bike industry for 22 years now, and in the first decade is when I sort of noticed that I felt like I was the only woman.
Meet the people breaking those barriers, hurdling the roadblocks, and welcoming others into the natural world.
The lack of diversity is certainly noticeable. More and more people, more and more diverse people are entering the outdoor space. So making sure that there's an organization or some sort of framework to show people that there is community for them, no matter what they look like.
There's a national organization doing just that right here in Central Oregon.
My name is Hannah Anderson, and I work with the Outdoors to Oath, an organization that is focused on providing people with a guidance on how to take action for the planet, inclusion, and adventure.
Inclusion out here opens more eyes to the world around us, opens these experiences to more people.
To try to break down those barriers in really small ways.
Something as simple as sharing knowledge.
Not just, for outdoor specific things, but it's just creating a better understanding of each other.
Some of us haven't been sending it since we could walk. We come from different places, different backgrounds.
I'm adopted, so I have a white family. And I think that the family I grew up in, generationally had camping experience. Whereas, a lot of people who grew up with me, who looked like me, or who were other people of color, didn't grow up with that generational, knowledge sharing.
It's not just knowing how or where to start, but having the money to gear up.
The economic cost or barrier is certainly one of the components of why we don't see more BIPOC individuals outdoors, or why we don't see more low-income families outdoors.
And if the pitch isn't steep enough, there's outright discrimination.
It might not be as prevalent to you if you haven't personally experienced it, or if you're not from a community that has been marginalized in the outdoors.
Barriers the Oath is working to break through events, trainings, and online resources.
There are organizations and people willing to stay in Bend and commit to building that community and building orgs that are going to help people, access the reason why most people move here.
The natural world, bringing people together to recreate on the people's lands. On the public lands in Central Oregon, Steve Kaufman, Central Oregon Daily News.